Hello again. I am currently at a campground up here in Oklahoma near, I guess it's near Cartwright. It's called Platter Flat. I think it's kind of the area just over the Texas border. It's actually a nice little park. I was looking for someplace nearby just to go for a couple of nights, and the state parks in Texas that were close to here were booked up, and then I saw this one and I was like, well, I'll check this one out. Actually, I probably would definitely come back up here again. It's like an hour and a half drive if you don't take the highway. And pretty nice weather out. I have a nice shady spot. The only thing is the water hookup is like, I guess you share it with a couple of sites, so it's my hose isn't long enough, basically. So lesson learned: make sure your tank is full, your fresh water tank is full, or you have a long hose. So I thought I'd do a little tour, or I don't know if tour is the right word, but kind of show you how I have my storage set up, because I've done some shuffling around and I think I've got it really almost where I want it, because my whole goal is I don't want anything sitting out that doesn't need to be sitting out, where you're constantly, well, it's over here and I need to use this, so let me move it over here, and now I need to use this, let me move this thing over here. So because I was doing a lot of that in the beginning, and so in a small space you kind of really want to have things put away as well as you can, and definitely get rid of things you're not using. I think after every trip I kind of do a little culling, just to kind of say, well, I didn't, I was out for 6 weeks and I didn't use this thing, so it can come out. But right now I'm actually making myself some brunch, so after brunch I will start my little tour. I'm going to do some scrambled eggs and bacon and some fruit, but get back to you after that. So I wanted to take a minute and just thank everyone for subscribing. Over the last couple of months, I've had a lot of new people subscribe, and I really appreciate it. Kind of encourages me to want to do more videos. I enjoy editing, and I'm getting a little bit more used to talking on the camera, but I'm usually the one behind the camera with photography or even with video, but so anyway, it's been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate everyone subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed and you are seeing my channel for the first time, my name is Teresa. I travel part-time, solo. I have a husband who stays home, and my daughter's up in college in Ohio, so I actually go up there quite a bit. So I decided to start a channel, just kind of talk about my travels, maybe share tips, because I know there's a lot of women out there that are thinking about traveling solo, or maybe are traveling solo, and maybe we can share ideas and just kind of learn from each other. So anyway, again, I appreciate it, and appreciate also a thumbs up, but thanks again. So I'm actually using, I have an air fryer, and that's how I'm cooking the bacon. I don't know why I never discovered that sooner, but it, cuts down on the mess, and it cooks it really well. So now I'm just going to scramble some eggs, what I did, salt. I actually have a visitor or a guest with me this time. I brought my cat, Misty, so she's sitting on the floor staring at me, wondering why I'm talking to myself. And also wondering why I haven't given her enough treats today. I think her whole existence is around treats. But she's a sweetheart. She seems to do okay with the traveling. She doesn't like it when I come round her up. Say round her up to get her to put her in the van, because I have a little, and I'll show it later, but I have a little carrier seat thing. It fits over the seat, and you put a harness on them, and then it has a little clip so that they stay in the seat. And she doesn't like, I don't think she likes the harness. So she doesn't really isn't happy with me when she tries to run for me when I bring out the harness. But when she's in there, she's fine. She sleeps on the trip up and back. And when I let her out, she's, not scared. She's roaming around here, looking out the window. I think she enjoys that. She is an indoor cat, so I haven't leash trained her yet. I've put the leash on her, but I think it's just kind of one of those things where it takes some time, and I just haven't really done it yet. But I do have, I don't know if I should admit this, I do have a cat stroller. I've taken her out a few times in it, and she's fine in it. She likes it. She doesn't mind it. But I feel like a crazy cat lady walking down the street with a cat stroller. So, but it comes in handy here. Like, I brought it out last night so she could sit outside with me, which I'm thinking maybe I might get one of those little cat pens so I can bring her out so she could move around more. Not that, she fits okay in the stroller. She's not crowded in there, but it'd probably be nice if we could have a little space for her to walk around and put her toys in there so she'd feel comfortable. But yeah, traveling with a cat. On the long trips, she does stay home. She keeps my husband company. And I've kind of thought about it'd be kind of nice to take her on a long trip, but I worry about, I do have the lithium, so I could run the AC, if I'm traveling and I want to stop somewhere, maybe, I don't know, take a tour of a museum or something like that. She'd be perfectly fine in here with the AC, but I think I would still worry, like, what if the inverter tripped or something? And I know they have, like, there's like that waggle, I think, so that you can constantly monitor your pet, but it's a subscription service. So I'd like either set up something or find something that's not subscription based that I could monitor. And one of the people I know with a Travato travels with a dog, and he's in IT, so he set up this whole thing. I want to say he set it up with Apple HomePod, but I'm not 100% sure. But he set up this whole thing so that he can monitor it while he's not in the van, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I probably wouldn't want to travel with her on a long trip until I had something in place like that, because I would just worry too much that either it would get too hot or too cold in here, and I wouldn't know about it. Because you could run the heat without the inverter, but since I changed out my AC, I do have to have the inverter on now. Alright, so I'm going to get this cleaned up, and I'll show you the inside storage, and I'll actually show you I call it the garage storage, but it's the storage that's under the sofa in the back. and how I kind of maximize that. And I can actually get quite a bit in there. I've got 2 chairs, 2 tables, a little grill, all my, let me see, not the hoses, but the one side I have the, the stuff for the black tank. And then just a lot of little miscellaneous things. Like I've got windshield wiper fluid, extra bottle of that. What else do I have? I have a little doormat. I didn't put it out this time, but I have a doormat I usually put out. Even have her little stroller back there right now. What else do I have in there? I'm trying to picture it. Like I said, my grill, my charcoal, because I use a charcoal grill. Yeah, well, you'll see. And I'll show you how I made that space work, because my lithium battery is back there. It's on the left, or on the, I guess, the driver's side. So that's the side that I just keep the stuff for the black tank. I have a little elbow, which I keep in a bag, and then I have a little container, or yeah, I guess like a little basket container that I keep rubber gloves, extra things for like flushing the hose, stuff like that. And so that's all on that side, and then everything else is on the other side. Okay, I'm going to start with the bathroom storage. I know I showed you a little bit, I showed you the bathroom when I did my hot shower video, but I did change a little bit, or added to the storage, so I kind of want to show that to you, kind of see it through the glass. So over here is the shoe rack, which you've probably seen before in previous videos, but it did allow me to actually bring extra shoes with me if I want. Normally I would just have like a couple of pairs because I didn't have anywhere to put them, but this clearly gave me some extra storage here. These of course are shower flip-flops for if I use the campground shower. Coming over here, this is where I keep my soaps, and it just suctions on. Now this I just added, this towel rack, so we're going to decide if I like it. I was storing my towel up, or drying my towel up here, and sometimes it would kind of get in my way when I'd want to use the restroom, so we're going to see if this is any better. Of course this is built-in storage, and that's where I keep my hand towel, washcloth, soap, hand soap. Added this soap dish, toothbrush here, and of course the built-in storage that's down here. And then this is the new piece. I got this idea from somebody I met at the Van Life Gathering, who had a Coachman Nova, similar bathroom. So I was like, well, that could work for me. Made a big difference. It's a lot of the stuff I had in my small cabinet, or in various places, like this was in one of the overhead cabinets. Towels were in one of the overheads. So this really made a huge difference. So now all my bathroom stuff is here. So getting ready in the morning or getting ready to go to bed at night, I have everything I need in here. I open these doors. This is the whole bathroom area. So it's worked out really well. Now, as far as like the weight on the door, I have not noticed any issues. The only issue that I do have is, if I'm going down a bumpy road, it bounces. So I've got to find a way to kind of secure it to the door, and I'm not really sure how I want to do that. I thought I could use nano tape, but that didn't work at all. This doesn't even stick to it. But it's definitely made a huge difference in here. The only drawback is it is kind of dinging up the paint. So I'm not sure what to put up there. Because anything I think of, unless I put something very thin, like a very thin tape, that it could rub against, I don't know. But it would have to be very thin, because anything that's thick is going to affect this as far as closing the door, because it's already a little bit difficult to keep the door closed. But as far as storage, it's made a huge difference. Well, Misty's decided to hang out in there, so I'm going to leave this door open, and then I'm going to move on to my kitchen storage. So this is the first storage bin we're going to look at. It's right over my kitchen. So the first two that are in, I call these my kitchen storage area. You can see it's pretty windy out. I try to keep everything that's specifically for the kitchen in here. So this cabinet I use for spices, any dry goods, which I don't think I have too many dry goods in here right now. Got a, you can see back in there, it's, you know, I got some olive oil, like I said, spices, anything that doesn't have to be refrigerated basically goes up here. And then if you're curious what this is for my lithium system to monitor the battery. I usually use the app because this screen's kind of difficult to read. And I'm on shore power right now, so it's showing 100%. But yeah, this is the first cabinet. And then we'll come over here. It's my second cabinet. And I have cleared a lot of things out. I've got some paper goods in here, napkins, coffee cups. These are some plastic cups. That's what I use for boiling eggs, for hard-boiled eggs. Of course, my coffee maker, hot electric kettle, tin foil, plastic bags, saran wrap. Keep all that up in here. So, like I said, these two cabinets are dedicated to the kitchen. And then these two cabinets originally were where I kept my clothes. So because I've freed up all that space, it's really allowed for me to make sure that all these little things are now put away. So things like the Jackery, this little vacuum, which I'll tell you a story about that. Things like that would have just kind of been, I don't know, roaming around the van because I wouldn't have had any place to put them. But this cabinet I use for my bath towels. I have 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and originally I had the 2 washcloths that came with it, but then I added, I think, got a little pack of 4 more. And all those that store in that bathroom storage. And then some dish towels here. So the only towels I have up here are the bath towels just because they're so big. And then this little vacuum, it was one of those late night looking at Instagram ad pops up. And I thought, oh, that's perfect for the van, perfect size. And it took like, I don't know, almost 3 months to get here. And I, at that point, forgot what it looked like. And anyway, and it's smaller than I expected, but we'll see how it works. I haven't really tried it out too much yet. But, and then this little Jackery. Originally, I had a 1500 watt Jackery. And I use those predominantly if I'm boondocking, so that I don't have to turn the inverter on. I can charge my phone, my laptop, things like that. But the 1500, I don't think I really needed it. It was probably overkill. So it's at home, and we have it in our pantry. That's also our tornado shelter, and so that way, if we ever have a storm and power outage, we have that Jackery there. And so, but I still wanted something for the van, and this is a little 300 watt, and I think it's so cute, and it fits perfectly up here. And it'll be perfect for just, you know, plugging in the phone, you know, charging my watch, my laptop, and so on. But again, everything nicely tucked away in storage. And then the last one on this side is really things that I don't need to get to all the time. I've got some Swiffer wet wipes for washing the floor. Clorox, what do I have behind it? Oh, Clorox spray behind it. Dry Swiffers, trash bags, fan. That back there is a bug catcher. And then my drone, which I always forget to take out. I need to fly it more. And then, of course, some extra little things for the toilet. I forget what they're called, but you drop them down there, and they help keep the toilet clean. This cabinet and my front cabinet, for some reason, the hinge wants to slam shut, but most of them are like a soft close. But anyway, that is my passenger side storage. Now, coming over to this side, there's just 2 cabinets on this side. This cabinet is where I keep paper goods. So you can see I've got some paper towels, paper plates, plastic utensils. There's tissues back here. I like to chew gum. And then this is some extra parchment for the air fryer. And that all, again, having those drawers made it easier to use up space for things like this, if that makes sense. It's because I don't have to worry about where am I going to put my clothes. And then this is what I call the junk cabinet. And everything that I don't know where else to go with it. Like these 2 bins, I have like the command strips, anything command strips. I got some nano tape. So any like little utility type thing that I might need. If I'm like, oh, I have this new thing, I want to hang it up. Oh, this is where I keep my command strips. This is if you're curious, it's one of those to see what the temperature is. So it's 80 degrees right there. And this, what is this? Oh, it's a box I need to take out of here, actually. And then this right here is my Wii Boost, which I'm still on the fence with this one. I got the car version, so it has to be set up anytime I want to use it. I should have got the RV version that's set up and you just flip a switch, basically. At the time, though, I didn't know how it was going to be installed and was thinking I didn't want a hole in the roof, so I don't know. But, so I'm still debating if I want to switch out to a RV version. Of course, a headset for work. And then this comes with the van. It's a Jensen speaker and DVD player. I don't use it too much. Sometimes I turn it on so that I can get the TV audio out of the speakers that are down here. Kind of give it a nice little surround sound, I guess you could say. And then I have these bins right here that we added. And so I store like my Wi-Fi's up here, cables, things like that. This little foot stand is actually where I store my air fryer. These are the air fryer bags. So that sits in there. And I can just have a nice little footstool. And because of the weight of not that it's that heavy, but the weight is just enough weight of the air fryer that this doesn't go sliding all over the place. Plus, sitting on the carpet, it doesn't slide. So, yeah, another idea for storage. Misty is still sitting in here, but I'm going to close this door. She'll probably want to come out as soon as I close the door. Sorry, Misty. So I wanted to show you. So I did change out, put this out of the way a little bit. The drawers that I had worked great, except for the fact that they opened here, on this side here, not here. And so I'd have to pull it out to open my drawers. Now, and they were 3 drawers, 3 deeper drawers. I happened to come across this, and this was exactly what I was looking for. It's the same measurements, width and length as the other one, but I wanted drawers that open on this side. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's perfect, because now I don't have to take it out and I can just open my drawers. Of course, not having, having 4 smaller drawers, we'll see. Now, so far, and I did pack these, and it seems like I do have quite a bit of room in them. But again, I didn't pack for 6 weeks. So we'll see on a longer trip if I'm able to store as much in here as I'd like. I still have my laundry down in the bottom. This drawer right now is empty because I didn't need to put anything in it. But the added bonus was my toaster oven. You can see this behind my coats. But my toaster oven, I'm able to store here. Before, I had it sitting on the jump seat under the TV, and while it was handy, I just hated having a clutter of things under that in that area. Right now, I just have my laptop sitting there. So it's kind of nice to not have clutter on that jump seat. Plus, because of the way I have the bed made up, or not made up, I don't want to have a bunch of stuff that I have to move out. But anyway, so that's worked out really well there. And it's really secure in there, so it's not going to come flying out. So, yeah. So one more thing to show you before we go out to the garage storage is my kitchen storage. So I've really tried to keep, like I said, everything for the kitchen to these front two cabinets and then in these drawers. So starting here at the top drawer, this is where all my utensils are. Kind of funny, when I picked up my van, I flew out to San Jose, which is where the owners were at the time. They were actually from Tennessee, but they were staying with some family. And so they picked me up at the airport. We went to a parking lot. We did the paperwork. They walked through the van, and then I went to a Target and basically was in a daze, thinking I needed all these things for my 3-day trip home, which of course I didn't. But one of the things was I bought silverware. Which actually, that part was okay, because I kind of like the silverware. It's, I don't know, kind of cute, I guess. But, and, there are 4 pieces, which normally you really don't need 4 of things. But I will say with silverware, it is helpful because, if you're cooking and whatnot. But yeah, this is where I've got some paring knives, scissors, spatulas, a little frother and a whisk, and I use these quite a bit, these little tongs. And then the next drawer is my dishes, and I've been through different iterations of dishes. Like I said, when I hit that Target pretty hard, I bought some plastic plates that I didn't really care for, which was kind of stupid. I could have just bought paper plates. I mean, like I said, it was a 3-day trip home, but I didn't have a list, and I was just wandering aimlessly through Target. And then I bought some plastic plates, and they came in a set of 4, and I had 4 dinner plates, 4 salad plates, or salad/sandwich plates, and then 4 bowls. Plus I got 4 glasses that match. They were plastic glasses. They were actually really pretty, but it was really too much. I didn't need to have 4, so I ended up taking out 2 of each, and then just keeping 2 of each in here, but it still seemed like a lot. And even though the plates are pretty, there's something about the plastic I just didn't care for. And so I got the Hydro Flask, and I have 2 of each. I have 2 plates, and 2 bowls, and then 2 cups. And I decided on these. They were actually, this color was on clearance, so that was a big part of my decision, because they're not cheap. And I think they're about half off. But what I like about them is that they keep things hot or cold. So, and then of course these bowls, the other plate is under those paper plates, but these bowls have these lids. And so, if I needed to store something in the fridge, I could do that. Plus the cups have lids as well, which is kind of nice. And then I did get a little dash blender thingy. I don't know what you call these things. Haven't used it. Well, I used it once to whisk something, which means I could probably get rid of my other whisk. This is like a little chip clip we got from Coachman at the rally. That may or may not stay in here. And then these are for soy sauce, or just, I guess, any kind of little sauce, but I use them for soy sauce. And of course, my Luckenbach wine cup. And then these, I got, my company had they sent out a link where we could pick a Christmas present. This is also from Luckenbach. Oh, looks like that's scratching off. Jeez, I keep finding stuff that ends up scratching off. Oh, well. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so these cups were a little Christmas gift. But they're kind of nice. They're nice for mixed drinks. And then the next drawer is my cookware. So, now I did buy a set of knives. I don't know. I haven't really used a lot of these yet. I had some other knives and they kind of got a little worn. So we'll see how these work, and if I need them all. But I have a lot of little things in here. So I have, this is the lid to the cast iron. Of course, these are for taking out hot items. I have one pan and my cast iron plate, and that's it. And that's all I've needed. I mean, I just have one burner, so don't need to have a bunch of, not like I'm going to have a big, 4-course dinner cooking on the stove. So got a little spatula, and I use this actually to put the hot cast iron pan on when I'm done cooking. These are handy. They are little measuring cups that collapse, so they don't take up much space. And then these are strainers that also collapse. And then this little thing, I've used it a little bit, but it's got all these little tools on it. So that kind of comes in handy, and it kind of stores okay, I guess. But yeah, that's my cooking drawers. And then over here is the trash drawer. Now this came with the van like this, which I like it. Some people will take this out and then they might store other things in here, like cooking oils or whatever. But this has worked out really well for me as far as just keeping my keeping this for trash. And then my dish soap, Windex, things like that are over there. This is my little brush that I use to scrub my Coachman logo on my step. But yeah, so that's everything for the kitchen stays in the kitchen area. So I'm home from my little trip, and I recorded video showing my outside storage, and it was super windy out and the audio wasn't so great. So I'm going to reshoot that part. So I'm actually in my driveway, but I will show you the my garage storage and how I have that set up. So this is my garage storage. One thing that I've added that's really made a difference is this shelf. And I'm kind of proud of it because it was one of those things where I had the idea for it and was able to execute it in one try. I didn't have to keep going back and retrying. And it's there so that I can put the bedding here when I have the seat up. So what I did was I got a shelf, and then I found these, they're half clamp, half hinge, and they're actually for silkscreen. So we attach the hinge here to this board, and then it clamps onto this bar that's here for the couch. And then I added these legs that can fold in, and then to hold it up, I just add the Velcro. That way I can hold it in place while I access everything down here. So down here, of course, this is my EMS surge protector. You always want to have one of these to plug into the campground outlet. It's 30 amp, and then my cord plugs into here. That way, if there's ever a surge or issue with the campground outlet, you don't fry your electrical system. So you definitely want to have one of those. This is a air pump for my tires, and also for these flat jacks, which are levelers, and they're pretty cool because they, as you can see, it's pretty flat. So you just pump it up with that. Over here is this little containers where I have a lot of my electrical stuff. So I have a dog bone. What this is if you only have access to a 50 amp, you plug this in and then plug this into here, and you're good to go. It's actually come in handy. There's been 2 times where, for whatever reason, the 30 amp outlet at the campground was having issues, so I had to plug into the 50 amp. So you always want to make sure you have one of those. And I have a second one that's from a 30 to a 15, which I don't use very often. If you ever, with the lithium system, if you plug into your household 110 15 amp,
you want to make sure you adjust your inverter, otherwise it's too much power coming in and it'll get real hot and it's just not a good thing. So behind here I have my charcoal grill. This is charcoal. I've got 2 folding chairs here, and then back in here is a basket where I have just kind of various things. Like this is slide out silicone lubricant for my sliding door to keep it clean. And then I've got a few other things in, like WD-40, just kind of things you kind of want to have on hand. And then on this side, let's put this out of the way. This is where I keep all my black tank stuff. So I have a kneeler to kneel down for the black tank. I have this just in case I need a little extra. Want to sit down, wait for the black tank, I don't know. But then I've got wipes, some liquefied, one of these, I don't know what they're called, but it's for supporting the hose, the sewer hose. Sometimes the sewer connection is at a weird angle, so I'll pull that out because it helps support the hose to make sure everything drains properly. But I keep all that in a basket, and I've got my disposable gloves in there too. But as you can see, there's quite a lot of room down here. Now, when you get the van from Coachman, they have like a little panel here that it's just kind of held in place with a couple of screws, and it's just kind of in the way. So I removed it, and it freed up all this space back here. So my battery is actually over here on this side. But yeah, that's my storage. Also even have a little solo stove, little mini stove for campfires. So yeah, I can get quite a bit back here. I even have 2 tables. I've got a table here, which is a little bit bigger, and I use that for my grill. And then I have a smaller table here, which is a nice little side table for when I have my chair, or either chair out, or both chairs. But yeah, it's worked out really well. So one last bit of storage that I've added is this storage case. And this is actually an idea that came from our Facebook group. Several of us have done this. It's a very popular thing to do. It starts with the Prime Design ladder, which is, I guess, I don't know how to describe how it's held on, but it's held on real tight, but there's no drilling involved. But it's kind of like grabbed onto the door. And then I've attached the case to it. Unlock this one. And I use this to store my hoses. So we've got the electrical hose and the fresh water hose and all my freshwater accessories. And by adding this storage, it freed up a lot of space because of the fresh hose I used to keep in a plastic container. Obviously because there'd be water coming out, and I didn't want water everywhere back here, so there was a whole plastic container just taking up space back here. And by eliminating that, I was able to add this little bit to store some other things. So this made a huge difference. And it's just, really worked out well. I've still got to work on the basket though. They're metal, and so they kind of rust. And so my temporary solution is these little crock pot bags till I get a plastic basket. But that's my storage. There we And by the way, let me just show you this real quick. I don't know if you can see it. One thing I did a little different for making it easy to take this off. I don't know if you could see in here, but I used, I don't know what these are called, but they're pins that you put these little, oh gosh, I wish I knew what they were called. But anyway, you put these clips in there to hold them on. So if I need to take this case off to use the ladder, I can just pop these out and it comes off real easy. I had thought about some kind of an idea with the hinge where you could just like unhook it from one side and swing it over, but couldn't get the logistics on that. So I thought, well, let's just use the pin idea, because at least it'll come off when I need it. Well, that doesn't want to clamp down. But you get the idea. To figure out why that's not clamping. But anyway, I hope that helps with giving you some ideas for storage. You definitely have to get creative. So, like I said, this is probably one of my favorite little mods, just because I got it on the first try.